Hey everyone, welcome to the Security Hazard Show.
There's a little bear
today,
like you've never
wait,
seen before.
wait
Who's
a
a
minute.
lot of fun.
Hold on.
Children
Oh, wait.
everywhere
Wait,
grow
stop.
to love him more and more. He's
No,
the
no,
number
no.
one.
Abort,
There's
abort.
a million
No,
stories to be told of the things that
Jack,
he's done.
we're
and
on
he's
the
gonna
air.
share them all with you, so come along. Rupert the bear.
Oh, no.
Everyone sing his name. Ben, why aren't you singing his name?
Is there nothing I can do to put a stop to this?
Rupert the bear.
Somebody
Everyone
send help.
come and join in all of his games. Oh yeah. Oh, isn't that a lovely song, Ben?
That was. Excuse me. I need to go be sick. I'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. You feeling better, Ben?
Oh, sorry. I was just feeling queasy there for a second. I don't know why.
Oh, who knows why? It's the podcast where we explore the breadth and depth of Gerry Anderson related media so you don't have to. It's the Security Hazard Show, everyone.
Hey, and your host, rumored to be from a village called Nutwood. He's Jack Knoll. Nutwood resident Jack Knoll.
Lovely, lovely place to be. What can I say about my co-host today? Like Rupert Bear, he has a friend with a very long trunk. He's not an elephant, though. He's a luggage salesman. Ben Wolf-Page, everyone. You know your friend, the luggage salesman, with his very long trunk. God, I'm clever.
This is really dreadful. This is dreadful. Wow. What
Worst
a show.
podcast ever already.
It's, oh man, just when you thought we couldn't sink any lower.
Nonsense. We've got way further to sink than that.
Oh, good. Let's go. What are we talking about today? What
depths
of depravity lie ahead in store for our listeners and viewers?
Today's episode is a double feature, Ben. We're doing two segments today. First up, we're doing a scene missing where we are talking about the beloved but sometimes also quite forgotten about puppet children's TV series, The Adventures of Rupert Bear, which has many Anderson connections that we will get into. And then a little bit later on, Ben, I'm sorry to say, I'm hijacking the show. We're gonna do our hijacked segment where we're gonna I've got a total surprise for Ben. He doesn't know what's coming up later in the show. And I'm not going to tell him about it now. He's going to discover it live on air with all of you. And I
absolutely cannot wait.
Let's just say
grows.
I have form for throwing in curveballs. I think it's fair to say. So, but before we get into that, yes, we are going to start up our scene missing segment. Here we go.
Roll the videotape.
Rupert Bear. What an odd choice for us to do on our Gerry Anderson podcast.
I don't know, Jack. After we've done the Very Hungry Money Box, anything's possible.
That's true. Why are we doing this, Ben?
Well, I think the main reason is a person named Mary. There's a couple of Marys, but one of them has a specific connection to the worlds of Gerry Anderson, Mary Turner, who was, of course, the director of many episodes of Rupert Bear, The Adventures of Rupert Bear.
Yes.
And she, together with John Reed and several other Anderson alumni, I think it's fair to say, produced this show. I don't think producers the credit that they're given, but they, as a team, seem to have worked together to make this thing happen.
Put it together. It's a real kind of cottage industry where it just sort of feels like all the gang got back together and decided they were just gonna make this show. So the time is 1970, and the Century 21 puppet stages had sadly just closed. After the Secret Service finished after 13 episodes, and Gerry and Sylvia Anderson went on to make UFO and do live action work during the 1970s, which left all the amazing, talented puppeteers from all those Supermarionation shows suddenly without work. Having had quite a stable income from AP Films and Century 21 over the course of the 60s, making Thunderbirds and Captain Scott, making series after series after series, that wasn't there anymore. And I think it's fair to say, surprisingly quickly, they, Secret Service finishes, and they kind of go out on their own. Mary Turner directing the episodes, and John Reed as director of photography, get together and basically pitch to... Well, so the story is that ATV, who of course owned Century 21 latterly, came along and said, we've got the license to make Rupert Bear, a Rupert Bear TV series. Can you make it for us?
Right. And if you're uninitiated, who or what is Rupert Bear? And how did it come to pass that it would be...
Rupert Bear is an interesting one. So it's a bit of a British institution, really.
Is he the bear that wears the hat and eats the marmalade sandwiches?
Not quite. This is a different.
A different bear. That's
different bear. Yeah, we love our bears, which is weird considering that aren't any bears in the UK. For some reason, we have a bit of an obsession with anthropomorphic bears. No, Rupert Bear originated in the Daily Express newspaper in the year 1920.
Whoa.
So right now, as of recording this, 105 years old.
Dang.
Which is extraordinary.
That is an aged bear.
Yeah, and he's basically just a little guy who he walks around in his red jumper and yellow scarf. And he goes around, he lives in a village called Nutwood, where a bunch of his friends are also different animals. You've got an elephant, a badger, a pig. You've got all sorts. There's a huge long list of characters because it's been around for such a long time. They've introduced quite a lot of characters. So in the Daily Express newspaper, there were stories and comic strips about this bear and all of his adventures, just going around meeting interesting, strange new people. There's a little bit of a kind of fantasy, magical element to it, but it's also kind of weirdly grounded in something resembling the real world as well.
There's a lot of one of the first things that struck me about this show is that there are human or humanoid characters kind of freely interacting with the anthropomorphic animals. Exactly. As well as the kind of there's sort of characters who are sort of they feel like wood spirits or the kind of
supernatural elements to it a little bit. Yeah.
The sort of characters that populate British folklore and then get called into things like the Narnia books. These kind of fantasy figures that you wouldn't normally expect to see alongside of, in the first episode, there's there's a man just wearing like a fisherman's uniform.
Yeah.
Is a main character in that particular story, and it's like, what is he doing, capturing these mythical creatures? It's an odd blend of tones.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, so it's odd to consider that even by 1970, when ATV acquired the license to make a TV show, Rupert was already 50 years old at that point. So it was already like, very well established. And continues to be. I have vague memories in the 1990s of a cartoon series based on Rupert that I think actually was probably a little bit more successful maybe than this puppet series was. And I think even recently, or relatively recently, there was another TV series as well. Which I'm going to get the details of while I can remember it. Rupert Bear Follow the Magic between 2006 and 2008, which was stop motion animated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I assumed that was a CGI show.
No, stop motion apparently.
Instinct.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I wasn't aware of it at all.
Wow, and so there's like a whole Rupert Bear universe out there.
It's a huge franchise, which I was only sort of vaguely aware of, which is just crazy. But yeah, they still produce Rupert. It's still published to this day. They're still publishing it in the newspaper. They're still making annuals of it every single year. So Rupert the Bear is still going strong. Now, I should say, is it Rupert Bear or Rupert the Bear? I think it's supposed to be Rupert Bear, but occasionally it'll be referred to as Rupert the Bear. So I do apologize to any hardcore Rupert fans out there who get annoyed when I say it wrong.
Yes, we're assuming it's Rupert Bear because his parents are part of the show.
Yes,
they're Mr. and Mrs. Bear. So
exactly.
Rupert and then Bear would be Rupert's surname, presumably.
It's presumably, yes. I think that's the logic. I think that's how this is supposed to work.
But then in the theme tune that Jack so kindly performed,
do you want to hear it again?
Earlier, no, thank you. We've heard it, and it's on tape for the record, for history.
All right.
So don't sing it again. But in that tune, they refer to it as Rupert the Bear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Maybe
he is a bear. There's no getting around that. So he is Rupert the Bear.
Yeah,
that is true.
All right.
You could say he's Rupert a Bear. Maybe he's not the definitive article.
What does the A stand for? Alfredo Albert.
Maybe
Anderson.
Well, Anderson, thank you for bringing it back round to that. Yeah,
it all ties together.
There's a lot of people who are involved in. There are a lot of people who are involved in making the Adventures of Rupert Bear 1970 puppet TV series that were previously employees of Gerry and Sylvia Anderson at Century 21. And yeah, chief among them, Mary Turner, who directed all 156 episodes of this show. Can't believe there were so many of them.
Amazing number. It should be. It's worth pointing out that these episodes they're about 10 minutes long.
Yes.
So they're sort of a throwback in some ways to Torchy the Battery Boy, I guess, in terms of
it's definitely got that flavor about it in terms of pacing and tone and things like that.
Yeah, they're narrated. So they're not. They have a little bit of a storybook quality. There's sort of a live action intro at the beginning of the show, where a mother is reading a child a storybook story.
Well, speaking of which, I have a very direct Anderson connection in there for you.
Yes, I imagined you would.
You imagine? Oh, so did you spot it?
No, but go on.
All right, so I feel quite excited about this. So, in that opening sequence, it's a live action sequence. It's the only sort of live action part of the show. Every episode opens with a mother reading Rupert Bear bedtime stories to a small child, and there's a little Rupert Bear sort of doll toy thing sitting on the floor, sort of listening in, and that's how every episode starts up. And in this child's bedroom, there are a number of children's toys lying around.
Oh.
And I brought it up on screen for you to have a look at, Ben. Do you notice anything sort of sitting on top of those cabinets just above Rupert's head? Maybe if I zoom in a little bit on this frame from the opening titles, you might be able to recognize some of those items that are up on display. Can you make out what those are? And
well, it looks like a hairbrush and maybe a shark.
Really?
Is that it?
Really? That's what you think that is? I mean, it's a bit of a smudgy blur. It's difficult to make out exactly what it is, but I'm pretty convinced. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're looking at a dinky blue Thunderbird 2 and dinky Joe's car as well from Joe 90, the Jet Air car.
Right.
I think that's what we're seeing there.
Could well be. Could well be.
Well
which episode does this come from?
Every episode.
Every episode is the same?
I think so. I checked quite a few episodes to make sure.
All right.
I wasn't just making it up, but yeah, I think
I believe you.
I think this live action segment at the beginning was often kind of like they just kind of filmed for a long time and then would recycle bits and pieces of it throughout the show. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure those dinky toys of Thunderbird 2 and Joe 90's car are in every episode.
Yeah.
There.
So I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit about these.
Okay.
Where does this fall in the timeline of the Blue Thunderbird 2? Because we know that the original Thunderbird 2 toy from Dinky was actually green, even though over the course of the years, I know you don't have your handy Fanderson.
You're putting me on the spot because I just did a Security Hazard mini about this, and
I was pretty sure
the information.
The like Blue 2 didn't come out until something like 74.
Ooh,
which would make that not Thunderbird 2?
Well, let's put it this way: I took this screenshot from episode 1, season 1.
Yeah, which would have been 1970.
Ooh. So maybe it's not a dinky then. It looks like a dinky toy, but it is really blurry. It's difficult to make out.
It really does look like, well, I mean, I have one sitting here as well. It looks an awful lot like a Dinky Thunderbird 2.
Yeah.
I don't think that, but if it is it like an early prototype? Is it like, because there was an earlier one that was not blue, but kind of a more metallic green that could have looked blue. If it's in this blurry photo, it's hard to tell.
I guess so. Yeah, it could be green, and maybe the color grading is a bit off. I mean, the colors are very, very saturated on a lot of these episodes. So, but anyway, there's an interesting little puzzle there.
Yeah. Now, did that sequence remind you of anything from the Anderson back catalog?
Not really. The only thing it made me think of was the fact that Gerry had wanted to do Fireball XL5 with a sort of live action element. Can you remind me a little of what
that's exactly what I was going for. So there was an early concept around, sort of in the wake of the success of Supercar. They were coming up with ideas for new shows. And one of their concepts, I think in there were several different names floating around. Fireball XL5 was one. Nova X100 was another. But the idea was that
Century 21 was
Century 21 was another. Yeah. Century 21 would be the name of the ship in that particular version. But in one version, one iteration of what would eventually become Fireball XL5, they had a space hero named Joe 90. And Joe 90 was a 9-year-old boy, and his parents would read him a story before bed, and then he would dream of being a space pilot, the space hero, Joe 90.
Well,
so
that's very similar to sort of what's suggested to happen with Rupert Bear as well. So that's very interesting. Yeah. And of course,
also, I think
Joan
it's
Auntie
interesting.
would turn up later, of course, as an actual show in its own right.
Show. I think it's interesting in the wake of the Secret Service that you would include human actors in a puppet show, albeit much more contained.
Yeah,
obvious fantasy.
They're not deliberately trying to blend the two. Yes,
no, but it's definitely because there was nothing like that really, other than like the hand inserts in the likes of Thunderbirds or Captain Scarlet. This is a different thing.
Yeah. So in terms of personnel who carried over, we have Mary Turner, who had previously been a puppetry supervisor on all sorts of different Anderson shows and had sculpted a lot of the characters that we know and love. Lady Penelope was her, Captain Scarlet was her, all sorts of others. So yeah, so she was actually directing the films, which I don't know if she'd ever directed for film before this. She might have done theater stuff maybe, but yeah,
certainly I don't think she directed any Anderson stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so she's involved. A couple of the puppeteers also carried over from Century 21. Christine Glanville and Rowena White were puppeteers on seasons 1 and 2 of Rupert Bear. They, of course, had also been puppeteers on the Anderson shows. And then also Judith Shutt came and joined for seasons 3 and 4 of Rupert Bear. John Jelly also was art director for Rupert Bear. What was his exact Anderson involvement, Ben? Do you have that in front of you by any chance?
There's an art director there as well, I believe.
Okay, like an art assistant on...
Yeah, working in the art department.
Certainly. Okay, yeah. David Elliott, previously an editor for Gerry Anderson, and ended up, directing tons of Supermarionation right up to Thunderbirds. He came back to edit the first 2 seasons of Rupert Bear. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, John Reed, as we've already mentioned, was director of photography on the show, having, pretty much fulfilled that same function for the Anderson shows as well. So a real kind of reunion.
Yeah, a real family affair. Yeah. It
really is something, and of course it's an ITC internationally distributed show, just like the Anderson series as well. And it did indeed sell, globally.
So I wonder, I've never heard most of the information that we've gathered about this, because there hasn't been a whole lot kind of released about this show. But there's an interview with Mary Turner talking about this show that I believe was made for the network DVDs. It's up on the network YouTube channel, which still exists.
Yes,
so we highly recommend
it while it's still there. Who knows how long that YouTube channel will last.
Highly recommend you go snag that, give it a watch while you can, because it's a really interesting interview with Mary Turner. It gives a bit of insight into how the show came to be. She doesn't mention Lou Grade, though, and I wonder if this was done sort of outside of the auspices of Lou. If there was
possibly,
since John Reed was a director of AP Films, if he had ties to Lou Grade personally, that he could pitch it to Lou as an idea, or if because I believe she frames it as we were approached.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I wonder if maybe that was the thinking. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there is an alternate universe where Gerry was asked first if he wanted to do it. And of course that was not, that very much would have been a step backwards for him and his ambitions. So that's right. Maybe they ATV were the ones who had the idea of let's go and ask the people who made Thunderbirds, not necessarily the Andersons, but some of the other people involved. That is certainly sort of how it comes across. But Mary does also describe in that interview how they still had to produce a pilot. They still had to prove that they could do it, which I think is interesting considering the enormous body of work that they had to show their talents. They still had to produce a pilot for Rupert Bear, which, if you look at the first episode of the series, you could tell it's ever so slightly different from the others. Some of the sets just look a little bit different. But otherwise, that first episode looks very, very similar to the rest of the show. And those were the circumstances in which it was made. They, as I say, pumped out 156 of them in total.
Incredible.
Across 4 seasons. Probably working non-stop, just continuously doing it. The episodes are based on the original stories, as they would have been published in the Daily Express. But with some adaptations, it's fair to say, there were certain elements that were introduced, certain characters and things like that were introduced in the TV series, which didn't appear. Those characters didn't appear in the Daily Express. I have a list of those. Willy Wisp didn't appear in the pages of the Daily Express. Drizzle, Della, Jimmy, Mr. Grimnasty, Gypsy Granny, Chun Mao, the Wise Old Wizard, and Mr. Koskora are all characters introduced especially for the TV series.
Wow. And did any of these, do we know if any of these characters became later were incorporated back into the comic, or if they became part of other future Rupert media?
That is beyond the extent of the knowledge I can get from this Wikipedia page, Ben. I'm sorry to say.
They just kind of disappeared into history.
I guess so. But it's interesting because they are sort of more like Willy Wisp is essentially like this flame thing that flies around. I'm not exactly sure of the nature of his powers exactly, but he flies around. But he's a more kind of supernatural kind of character.
Yeah, he travels at the speed of light.
Right.
But he can also be captured and contained by humans.
Yes, and he talks with a very strong Welsh accent as well.
Just for no reason. I can't. I don't understand why.
I don't think his Welsh heritage is ever really addressed.
No,
it's just quite strong.
No. But it is. I mean, the show does take place in England. It's very clearly set in England. It's not a fictional or a mystical realm. It's not again in Narnia or a fairyland.
Nutwood. England. The village of Nutwood is represented as being quite realistic, and often I feel like a lot of episodes, at least of the early episodes that I watched, revolved around Rupert going to the shops to pick up something for his mother and stuff like that.
There's a lot of just kind of ordinary domestic life.
Yeah, which then inevitably goes awry and something will happen. A weird character will come along. Some sort of fantastical element will be introduced that will spiral the whole adventure off into then Rupert will be taken into some sort of fantasy land, perhaps, and then will inevitably end up back at home, right back where he started, and everything's kind of put back in the box at the end of it.
It's a funny thing. It sort of reminds me a bit of Candy and Andy. In the sense that it's very blurry, all the lines of fantasy and reality, and there's a domestic ordinary suburban quality to it. But they're bears.
Yeah. That's it. That so many of the characters, their status as animals is not really relevant.
No. Not particularly.
I mean, Rupert's friends, you've got an elephant hanging out there, a badger, a pig, all sorts of weird and wonderful creatures. And they just kind of get along. I don't think their sort of status as animals really impacts anything.
Doesn't play into anything too much.
No.
There's a funny thing with like old children's media. People often mine these kinds of shows looking for horrific images, just like the scary, frightening children's characters, the kinds that turn up in Torchy the Battery Boy, to be frank.
Yes.
The kind of like bug-eyed, strange-looking, weird and wonderful creations. And there really aren't too many of those in Rupert Bear, actually. I think the puppets are, for the most part, quite appealing. I do have to add an asterisk to that and say that the Badger looks like he might be on some sort of drug. He's got very intense eyes. The Badger, he's... Oof.
Yes. They don't nail it every time with those.
No, but for the most part, I think the designs are very appealing, and it's got a storybook quality. You could see these being... There used to be storybooks that had like photographic illustrations, and you could see this being that. It could be like you could take a frame from it and put the story under it in text, and it would be a storybook.
Very, very candy and Andy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the puppets, because I did think it was interesting, considering, you know, all the advances that were made, you know, under the Anderson regime, shall we say, of, you know, trying to create the most lifelike, realistic puppets with electronic, automatic mouth movement, and, you know, being controlled from underneath in some cases. Having interchangeable heads for different expressions, trying to make the wires disappear against backdrop, all these things that, you know, the Andersons insisted upon in order to make the puppet film legitimate. And obviously the people who actually carried out those innovations were people like Mary Turner and Christine Glanville, because they were the ones responsible for making the puppets. So all that being said, it's interesting which elements of that carried over into Rupert Bear when, you know, Mary Turner herself was calling the shots, and which elements didn't carry over. Any particular things that stood out to you as differences between the Rupert Bear puppets and the Supermarionation puppets?
Well, obviously they went for they abandoned ideas about the Andersonian ideas of realism and went instead for caricature, and sort of back to what John Blundell was talking about circa 1964, 1965, saying things like, oh well, puppets are meant to be representative, not literal. They're not meant to be little people. They're meant to do things that only puppets can do, and that is create illusions and be caricatures and do all the wonderful puppet things that the characters in Rupert Bear do. Like they fly sometimes, they encounter magical winds or like forces from, you know, other places that cause them to fly and do all sorts of weird things that marionettes can do easily, but people would never be able to do. So exactly. It has a little bit of that kind of like magic of puppetry. I do think some of the advantages, advances that were made, could have been useful to have kept. I think the lip sync technology would have been helpful. The characters in this show don't have moving mouths, which feels like a bit of a loss.
Now, I wonder whether some of that is the nature of the way it was, because it's every episode, all the dialogue is performed by the narrator, whose name I have forgotten, and I will just double check. Judy Bennett. Lovely. Yes, excellent. Judy Bennett narrates every episode, and she does all of the character voices. Some of them, it's quite a wide range of voices that she's having to do. For a lot of those characters, and she's quite good at distinguishing between them. But I do wonder whether that impacted the use of, you know, lip sync, because they don't even go back to the sort of Torchy the Battery Boy way of doing lip sync with the sort of manual control. So it is literally the puppet faces remain totally static, which it does make it a bit less engaging. But I suppose it's in the interest of, well, for one thing, as I say, it's a narrator kind of telling the story.
Yeah, in that way, it sort of prefigures Thomas and all that sort of world that would come later.
Absolutely, yes. But I do wonder whether also it was literally just a cost issue of they couldn't.
A cost issue, or maybe they were concerned about the legality of copying the Supermarionation technique. If they, if Gerry and Sylvia would have been concerned about that.
Roberta Lee certainly wasn't bothered about it, so I'm sure they would have. They probably could have gotten away with it, but no, I'm sure there were sort of deliberate reasons why. Because one thing that is similar, I think the heads do look like they're sort of fiberglass creations. I think
it definitely could be the same kind of materials.
Yeah,
the same kind
very finely sculpted. There's a lot of detail in those faces. They're really very good.
They are very good. And the wires, I didn't actually. I mean, we're watching standard definition copies, so there's a limit to how much detail you can see, and sometimes that hides certain sins. But I didn't notice too many wires. Certain times in close-ups, I saw some wires, and one or two times I saw Puppeteer's hand creeping in for Puppeteer. But by and large, it's to the same high standard of the Supermarionation shows.
Yeah, it is a kind of weird glimpse at, like, what if we kept making Torchy the Battery Boy type stories, but we continue to advance the technology.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it is like. It's a weird kind of. I mean, I was going to say it's like a what if scenario, but it isn't, because that's literally what happened. I just wonder what that would have been like to sort of almost feel like you're stepping back in time a little bit for all those puppeteers to sort of think, we'll go back to the way that we did it in the early days. And it's kind of interesting that's the way they went with it.
Now, there are some elements that feel a bit Supermarionation-y sometimes. Like there was an inventor in one episode who has a lab.
In multiple episodes. The inventor was a regular character. Yeah.
He's a recurring figure. So and in those cases, or like I watched one where they go to a land of foreigners, I guess they are. They don't speak English.
Okay.
They just like travel through mysterious means to someplace very far away. Yeah. And there they had that civilization is sort of run by computer. There's like a computer that's like, "Are you English?" And
yes, I know the one.
Feels very like
there
Sid
are certain things.
From Captain Scarlet.
When they do occasionally, bring in bits of sort of retro, kind of futuristic, modern-ish technology and things like that. And you get in sort of computer noises and sound effects and lights and stuff like that do feel very
familiar sound effects.
It does kind of that does sort of feel familiar. One other thing I should point out as like a Supermarionation parallel is every so often, doesn't happen that regularly, but the expression on Rupert's face does change sometimes. They do swap out the head. He kind of has a sort of shocked expression and then his sort of standard smiler head. They do swap between the two sometimes. So obviously that's kind of something that was developed during the Supermarionation era of like swapping heads around for different facial expressions. So there's sort of just little hints at it. I have to say also some of the human characters that turn up in this, those puppets are not a million miles away from sort of maybe Fireball XL5 Stingray era sort of puppets.
Yeah, there's something different about them. I think it might be the eyes mainly.
Yeah.
They don't have the same kind of hyper realistic glass eyes
exactly
that those Stingray era puppets had.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not painted either. They're mostly like doll's eyes that have sort of like a very large black pupil and then iris, and nothing else. No white.
Right.
It's just sort of like the kind of eyes that you would use for making dolls.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, they probably just didn't quite have the same budget to to do everything they wanted to do. I noticed, like, particularly on the human puppets, I think there's a lot of reuse going on of the same puppet being redressed. We were talking, Ben and I were talking before the show, how there's a lot of kind of grumpy old men who turn up in this show for some reason. Lots of grumpy old men walking around, and they all look similar. I think that's because they just reuse the same puppet multiple times. Because, it was the 1970s, so, grumpy old men were running around playing with children and anthropomorphic animals on a regular basis, I guess. I don't know.
It's a little bit icky in hindsight, looking back.
There are definite moments of strangeness there. But, it's all very innocent and sweet and nostalgic and kind of...
Yeah. It's
lovely.
It's well meant. It's just kind of our culture has changed a lot since then.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. So Ben and I, we each, because we weren't possibly going to watch all 156 episodes. That was not going to happen.
Not really on the table.
And I should also point out that we only have 156 episodes. That the archival status of the show. Only relatively recently were all the episodes discovered. It was thought for a long time that a lot of the episodes were lost. But then all of them were found, and Network, as you said, Ben, like put out a DVD of the whole show. So you can go and enjoy all 156 episodes of Rupert Bear if you want to. I don't think Ben and I have time for that, but what we have done is each picked out an episode, and we want to just spotlight what goes on so that you can get a sense of what your average episode of The Adventures of Rupert Bear is like. Ben, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Why not? Okay. So I was curious about the Supermarionation parallels. So looking through a list of episodes, I picked one called Rupert to the Rescue because I wanted to compare what a rescue mission might look like for Rupert Bear as opposed to, say, Scott Tracy.
Love it.
So the story of Rupert to the Rescue, of course, opens with a storybook, story session, followed by the opening titles and the lovely, lovely song, Please Don't Sing It Again. And then we're into the village. And Rupert is called upon by a chap called Sam the Sailor, or Sailor Sam.
The Sailor.
Did you encounter Sailor Sam in any of the episodes you watched?
I don't think I did. No,
did he not come in until later? I was totally unfamiliar with Sailor Sam because I mostly watched season 1 episodes before jumping ahead to watch this one. Sailor Sam is a very nice chap who's often away on sea trips. He's not an old man, but he is an adult man, clearly, who's friends with this young bear child figure. He's got a rather spectacular comb over. I think anyone who's ever seen Sailor Sam would agree. He's got a nice pigtail, so you know that he's a sailor. And he invites Rupert to go for a quick hike in the mountains, and they're off to the hills. They're having a lovely time. They see a pair of human children. They wave to them. The elephant guy, what's his name? He tags along.
Edward Trunk, Ben. God.
Edward Trunk. Sorry. Edward Trunk and Rupert Bear and Sailor Sam are on this hike. They see 2 human children. They wave to them, but they go a separate way. They're climbing. Oh no! Across a crevasse, the 2 children have somehow got themselves trapped. So you've got basically 2 hills with a gap betwixt.
Okay. Okay.
Somehow the two children are trapped up there. A gorge, a gulch, a wide opening.
Mm-hmm.
Presumably, there's spikes at the bottom, so the children will fall to their deaths. But they don't show anything nearly that violent. Okay. They're just kind of paralyzed with fear. These two children. So what do? They call international rescue. No, Sailor Sam is well equipped with a hatchet and rope and all sorts of implements of destruction.
All the things you'd expect a sailor to have on their person.
Sailors are just carrying this stuff around with them wherever they go.
Okay.
Sailor Sam chops down a tree, and the tree just happens to be exactly the right length to cross the gap, but not hit the two children who are trapped on the other side and crush them to death. So it's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Only they're too frightened to cross the tree. So Rupert has to go across and basically help them. And there's a bit of nail-biting tension as the tree totters over the abyss.
Ooh.
And Rupert helps the two kids across. Is it a rescue worthy of Thunderbirds? No.
I mean, honestly, the way you're describing it sounds very exciting.
However, this is certainly worthy of something like Four Feather Falls. It reminded me of there's an episode of Supercar, I've forgotten the name, but it's one with Beaker's cousin Felicity.
Oh, Jungle Hazard. Yeah,
Jungle Hazard, where she's sort of on the bridge, and Master Spy's cutting the ropes. She has to be rescued. It's very much that sort of a rescue where it's like, okay, well, it's obviously intended for children, and there's a certain amount of like the danger is couched in a sort of like twee, cozy environment where it's not, the danger's not really that huge, but it's still dramatic enough. I feel like that could be perfectly on par with that. And these episodes are so short, it just kind of ends with the end of that rescue. So
yeah,
I don't have anything against this show and would probably watch it more. I'm curious what you thought of your episode.
Yes, well, I went for quite an early episode, Rupert and the Snow Machine, which I actually did a little bit of homework on it. It was a story originally published in the Daily Express in 1937, so 17 years into the comic's run, but still relatively early in terms of Rupert Bear, the whole franchise. So that's cool. So it snowed in Nutwood. Of course, you get a lovely establishing shot of the whole village kind of covered in snow. And Rupert tells his mother that he wants to go out and meet Jack Frost. And Mrs. Bear tells him to, jolly well go out and look for him. Because, we inhabit a world where clearly fictional fantasy characters like that might exist. So
Mrs. Bear is not frightened of anything. She's perfectly fine that her child run off or whatever. There's no helicopter whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, very much so. Yeah. So Rupert goes out in his chariot, which we haven't really talked about his chariot, but he has this little car thing. He has this little car thing that can fly. Except sometimes it doesn't fly. Sometimes it flies. Sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what the puppeteers sort of feel like doing at the time, I feel like.
It's endowed with magical powers from Willy the Wisp, right?
Yes, I think so. Something like that.
I believe that's how it goes down in the pilot.
Yeah, it starts out as an ordinary cart and then it can fly later on. And he goes sledging in this chariot and it's a bit awkward. There's a shot where it sort of tries to go down a hill, but it can't quite do it. So it just sort of hops up and down going down the hill. It doesn't look that great. And suddenly it stops because there's a patch of ground where there is no snow. It's like, well, what's going on? What's happened here? And then Rupert hears someone crying in the bushes. And it's Jack Frost, who is this sort of How is Jack Frost designed? It's like a blue doll, basically. Looks, kind of like your standard issue kind of baby doll thing that's bright blue, and it's got this sort of shiny, spiky crown thing on to sort of suggest cold and frost. And poor Jack Frost says he has a dolk. And he guesses what a dolk might be, Ben.
D-O-L-K, dolk?
Well, that's what I thought it was spelt like that. But no, apparently it's the Jack Frost equivalent of having a cold. As in he's feeling a bit poorly. And but because he's Jack Frost, instead of having a cold and having shivers and stuff like that, he's actually feeling too hot and can't make more snow while he's got this running this high temperature and running this fever.
Okay.
So Rupert's solution to this is taking Jack Frost home and sitting him bum first in a plate of ice on the floor. It's like, oh, well, we've got lots of ice in the fridge at home, so you just sit in a puddle of ice for a while, and that will make you feel better. Mrs. Bear comes along and finds this and is like, what are you doing, you idiot child? I'm a mother. Exactly I know what to do. I know how to take care of sick children, so let me take care of him. So anyway, Rupert goes and, or I should say Jack Frost is kind of left to be taken care of by Mrs. Bear. Then suddenly on the front, in Rupert's front garden, the inventor shows up. And the inventor is the guy who we've seen in many episodes before. He always comes along with a magical new invention, and he turns up in the front garden. Again, he's just sort of dropped out of the air, it would seem, but he's surrounded. Or again, there's another patch of no snow. Where's the snow gone? And it turns out the inventor has invented a snow machine. But it's not a machine that creates snow. It's a machine that gets rid of snow. So why it's called a snow machine, I'm not really sure. It's kind of it's an anti-snow machine.
Snow. There's snow.
That's right, Ben. Well done.
No snow.
That's it. You're getting it. You're getting the idea.
No way that there's snow.
Yes. So anyway, the inventor wants to demonstrate his machine for everyone. And so he goes out onto the common with Rupert and Mr. Bear, who I don't feel like we see much of Rupert's dad in some of these episodes. But anyway, Mr. Bear is there. And the machine, what it does in order to get rid of the snow, it creates a whirlwind. Not a whirlwind, but a whirlwind.
Okay.
And this whirlwind ends up carrying Mr. Bear up into a tree, which is hilarious. Edward Trunk comes along, the elephant, and uses his trunk to get Mr. Bear out of the tree. And then the inventor switches on his snow machine again to try and warm everyone up. And it ends up catapulting all of them up into the air, where they just happen to land on Jack Frost's transport studio. That's the words they use. Transport studio, which is essentially just a board with a control panel on it. And that's obviously how Jack Frost flies around creating snow. Anyway, Mr. Bear is about to catch hypothermia, essentially. He's freezing cold, and they're like, we're flying around up in the air. We've got no way to cool it, to warm up Mr. Bear. He's gonna... I don't think they're like he's gonna die, but he doesn't seem to be in a good place.
There's some serious jeopardy.
Well, not that serious, to be honest. And then they land. They manage to. The inventor eventually figures out how the controls of this transport studio works, and he manages to land in the front garden. And that's pretty much it. Mr. Bear tells the inventor, you should probably make some adjustments to your snow machine before you try it again, because these whirlwinds you keep creating are quite dangerous. And Jack Frost has recovered. He was cured by sitting in a cold bath, which is not too far away from Rupert's original idea. and he leaves to go and, head off on his transport studio. And Willy Wisp goes and joins him. And Rupert wants to go and join in as well. But his mother says, and I've got the exact quotes, "We've had enough messing around with nature for one day." And that's how it ends. So it's a bit of a hodgepodge, yeah.
Different elements and different ideas.
Just sort of very much sort of like this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Until eventually the 10-minute running time just runs out, and that's the end of the show. So, yeah, structurally not very impressive as a story. Lots going on, but yeah, I can't say I came away from this. It's interesting that you came away from this thinking, yeah, I'd probably watch more Rupert Bear. I don't see myself ever coming back to it, honestly. I'm really hoping that the charm of it would win me over.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe later episodes they get the balance right, but I didn't warm to it, I have to say.
No, I didn't find Rupert Bear in this iteration to be a particularly compelling main character, which sort of is the engine that's required to drive further interest.
Exactly.
Would you recommend, Anderson fans to check this out? Do you think it's worth investigating just to see a few episodes to get an idea?
A couple of episodes to get an idea. If you're intrigued by anything that we've described here as like the kind of Supermarionation parallels, I would say though it is very much its own thing. I don't think there's actually that much that gives it away as like being produced by Anderson alumni, other than the names on the end credits.
I agree.
It is very much its own thing. So, which I think has been borne out by the fact that not that many people have really talked about it since. It's been very difficult to kind of do research for this show because, there wasn't a lot written about it.
No, which is too bad. We do have a comment that came in from James Fielding saying,
"Oh, hello, James.
The Rupert Bear series was very popular when it was first out."
Mm-hmm.
And there were, he remembers having some merchandise from the show as well. A foam squishy
lovely.
Rupert based on the series puppet. So apparently it was, popular enough and had a following when it was out. It just doesn't seem to have lingered in the cultural memory. Maybe because of that 90s series, animated series that came along later.
That's it. And we heard from a couple of other viewers. Simpsons Clips 24 said sort of, I don't know of the puppet show, but I do remember the cartoon series. And as I agree, I said it myself. I remember the cartoon series better. I think it ran for a lot longer, for one thing. And it was just sort of more widely distributed. But I still think it's crazy that Rupert Bear's been around for 105 years. And that it's endured for that long and it's still going to this day. I think that's incredible. So, credit to them. They definitely created something clearly long lasting. It's just interesting that this puppet show seems like more of a footnote rather than sort of a major contributing factor to its success. I could be wrong, but it seems like it's enjoyed a much wider life beyond the puppet show, I think.
Yeah, there's always a question with big collaborative efforts like Thunderbirds. There's always sort of a question of authorship, and people talk a lot about, Gerry versus Sylvia and the different like levels of, who brought what to the table. And you sort of want to believe that all these different people contributed to the authorship of a thing. And then you get something like this and you're like, ooh, like you find out, I only found out, I think this past year that Mary Turner tried her hand at directing. I didn't know she was a director as well as a sculptor and a performer. So the fact that she like took the plunge to direct a bunch of television is really, basically an entire television series is an incredible, achievement. So I was really interested to look and see what it would be like. And I don't feel like I have a sense of that authorial voice. And maybe that was, they felt like they had to stick quite close to the comics or the source material, and
I think so.
They didn't feel like they had the freedom to kind of express, original stories in the way that the Andersons maybe did.
Yeah, I think so.
That's
I agree.
Something that I'm hoping to discover maybe when we get to something like Clobba Castle, which was their original idea.
Yeah, I am intrigued to see that. I will say that. I'm curious to see what else came from Mary Turner and John Reed later on. But just no more Rupert Bear. I don't need much more of that in my life.
Time for a Rupert break.
Yeah, I think so. And it brings us to our second segment, which has nothing to do with Rupert Bear, but I am hijacking the show, Ben.
Hold on, wait.
Oh, hi there, Jack. Nice to hear from you. Oh, everything's fine, Jack.
What's all this Jack business?
Hello, Ben. What are we
I've
doing?
been hijacked.
You don't know what's coming. Well, last time we did hijack, I came up with a really convoluted game involving a map of Four Feather Falls that you had to run around and do tasks and challenges and stuff like that.
Yes, you did. I've almost.
Do you have fond memories of that?
I have almost forgiven you.
Okay. Well, I do have another game for you.
Oh.
But it's only had about maybe 5% of the effort that went into that Four Feather Falls game.
Oh,
it's gone into
great.
it. It's much lower key.
Okay.
It's called What's in My Mug?
What?
What's in my mug? It's the part of the show where Ben has to guess what's in my mug. So,
2 songs in 1 week, aren't I lucky?
I know, I'm feeling, but you said last week I needed to be more poppy, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
So I have an investigator mug here because I like the investigator.
Don't we all?
And I also have under my desk a collection of Gerry Anderson related items. You know me.
Okay.
I have a wide-ranging collection of toys and merchandise and books and badges and other little bits and pieces from the worlds of Gerry Anderson. And it's very simple, Ben. I'm going to put one of those items in this mug. I'm going to rattle it around for you, and you have 20 questions to guess what it is.
20 questions?
I think 20 questions. That seems fair. Yes or no answer. I can only give you yes or no answers. You'll have the sound that it makes inside the mug to try and guess. I don't know if that's going to help you very much, but, but that's what you're going to have. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Obviously, yeah, the more specific you can get, the better.
All right.
And I think we're just going to go for it. So I'm going to pick an item out from under my desk. Okay. Right. There's an item in the mug now. Can you hear that rattling around?
Yeah. This is like Christmas, shaking the boxes.
I know. Isn't it great? Well, first of all, you have to consider that it is something that I will be willing to rattle around in a mug.
Yes, it's probably not porcelain. Is it? Right. Is it? Well, are there any restrictions on the questions I can ask?
I can only answer yes or no.
Right.
Yeah. Otherwise.
Does it have arms and legs?
Yes.
Okay. So it's probably a figure of some kind. Is it made by Matchbox?
Yes.
Oh man.
You're really good at this game.
Is the figure of a lady?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Do I get points for how many questions I use or whether I get them correct or not?
let's just say no.
No points awarded.
No, I am keeping track. Oh, actually, no, I am keeping track of how many questions you asked. So yeah, we can say
Right, right.
sure.
Right. So it's not Lady Penelope or Tintin. Is it a Tracy brother?
No.
It is not a Tracy brother, so it's either Jeff or the Hood or Brains.
I hope the rattling's not too annoying for everyone. I'm trying to get Ben clues.
Is this? Oh, you're trying to give me a clue with the rattling?
No, not really. I'm just trying to make it interesting for our audio listeners.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, does this character wear glasses?
No.
All right, I'm gonna make my final guess.
Okay.
This is my final question.
I mean, no, you could keep asking questions even if you get it wrong. You can keep going.
All right, is it the Hood?
No.
Okay, then is it Jeff Tracy?
No.
Oh, it's none of those. So it's not even a Thunderbirds figure at all.
Is that a question?
Is it a Thunderbirds figure?
No.
Oh man, I've been barking up the wrong tree this whole time. Is it a Captain Scarlet figure?
No.
So it's got to be Stingray. It's got to be Stingray. Because it's made by Matchbox. Does this figure have a rank?
Yes.
All right. Is it Troy Tempest?
Yes.
It is Troy Tempest?
It's the Matchbox Troy Tempest figure.
There he is.
There you go.
Does he have a sidearm?
I think he does come
Troy
with a
Tempest.
sidearm, but I don't have that accessory on me right now.
Well, thanks.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks for that game.
You got that in 11.
That was this has been a great game. Thank you for playing.
No,
I
we're
really
playing
appreciate
more.
you taking the effort to
No,
what?
There's more. You've got to try again.
All right. See if I can
You
beat
ready?
11.
All right. Here's your.
Please do
your raffle.
sing out in the comments if you
Yeah, do feel free to help Ben out if you do know the answers.
if you hear a familiar rattle, if you too have been rattling your collectibles around inside your coffee mug.
Yeah.
Please let
Which
me know.
I'm sure you do frequently. All right, here we go.
Ooh. Is it a vehicle?
Yes.
It sounds a bit more like die-casty to me. So, is this a Thunderbirds vehicle?
No.
It's not a Thunderbirds vehicle. Is it a Captain Scarlet vehicle?
No. This is great. This is so entertaining.
This is it's really I'm struggling to come up with with banter to say while I think of what question to ask next.
Explore some of your thinking.
Well, I mean, I want to say that it's I want it to be a Terrahawks vehicle, but I also don't want it to be a Terrahawks vehicle because those toys are kind of rare. So if you're rattling,
why am I rattling it around in a mug?
If you're banging around the Terrahawk in there, that would be kind of disturbing. Is it made by Matchbox?
No.
Okay, so it's. I was gonna say maybe it's not 90s, but there's other. Is it Vivid Imaginations?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. And it's a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Is it from a live action show?
No.
Okay, that narrows it down. Did I already ask if it's Thunderbirds? I did, didn't I?
Do you want to ask again?
No. Is it is it Stingray?
No.
Not Stingray.
I feel like I'm driving you insane with this.
I mean, it could be anything, couldn't it?
The chat is trying to help you out a little bit.
Do they have tips? Give me some tips, guys. Ah, someone asks, is it made of Dinky? Is Dinky the manufacturer of this? No, it's not Dinky. It's not Matchbox. It's not Vivid Imaginations. So what does that leave? The Anderson merchandise world. Is it from Terrahawks?
Yes.
Upsetting. I'm really upset now. Terrahawk in a mug. Stop rattling.
Ugh. All right, I'll stop rattling it. But if I stop rattling it, you've got to fill the dead air.
Yeah, is it Treehawk?
No.
Is it Terrahawk?
No.
Ooh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It's the battle tank.
No.
No. Well, what's left? What's left? You couldn't possibly have put your Battlehawk in there. Is it Battlehawk?
No. You've seen the size of my Battlehawk.
Yeah, it wouldn't fit in there. Well, what else is there? Haven't we done... Is it Hudson?
No.
I've got absolutely no idea what it is. Chat, help me out. Someone asked, is it Space Hawk? But that can't be. Can that be? Is it Space Hawk?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I had to separate it into its two parts in order to fit it in there.
Oh, I'm really upset about this.
Yeah.
That should never have been rattled about in a mug.
It was already in a beaten up condition, I should say.
Shameful.
And I can't say it looks any worse now than it did before.
Right. Well, what was that? 17 questions? It felt like a lot.
15.
Ugh.
Only 4 more than your first attempt.
Shameful.
I was hoping to beat more.
Yeah, go on. Why not? When you've sunk to the lowest possible point, and you can't get any lower, you might as well do one more. It's not my actual philosophy. I'm just gonna...
Okay. Here comes the rattle.
Ooh, chonky. Chonky. Is it a vehicle?
Yes.
Is it Thunderbirds?
No. See, you're getting the hang of this now. You know what to like.
Is it made by Matchbox?
No.
Is it made by Vivid Imaginations?
No.
Is it Terrahawks?
No.
Right. Okay. Is it from a live action show?
No.
Okay. Is it a Dinky SPV?
No. How would I...
Is it from Stingray?
No.
Is it from Captain Scarlet?
No.
Oh man. Is it Product Enterprise?
No.
The disdain in your voice.
I'm not made of money.
Just $100 bills falling out of the mug as you shake it around. Ugh. Mm.
The chat are trying so hard to help you out.
Is it from Joe 90?
No.
Man, oh man. I don't know. This could be anything. Ooh, has it been featured in a Security Hazard Mini?
No.
It's a vehicle that's not been featured in a Mini. It's not Stingray, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Joe 90, Terrorhawks. It can't be the Secret Service because you did a mini about that dinky. There's no other Secret Service. So is it Fireball XL5
No.
related? Is it Supercar related?
No.
It is neither Supercar, Fireball, Thunderbirds, Captain Scarlet, Stingray, Joe 90, or the Secret Service. Or Terrorhawks. I've asked about all of those. But it is not a live action show.
No. I already answered that question, so I won't count it against you.
No, yeah. I'm just running through all the questions that I've asked in my head.
Do you want a clue?
I mean, I might as well. If you're
I'll
offering one, I'll take
you. Yeah,
That's
it'll
fine.
cost you a point.
That's fine.
You have mentioned it today on this show.
Good heavens. I mentioned it on the show today?
Mm-hmm.
Should pay more attention to myself.
Yeah, you brought it up.
Is it investigator related?
No.
Okay. And it's vehicle. Like we said, established that.
Yes.
A vehicle that's not from any of the Supermarionation shows. What else did I bring up? Someone help me. Okay, what did I bring up? I brought up we were talking about Rupert's chariot. Did I compare that to a vehicle? I don't think I did. I hate this. I hate this game.
I'm really enjoying this game.
Yeah, I know you are. Cruel and unusual.
Yeah.
What sins did I commit in a former life to deserve this? All right. Well, maybe I should go late. Maybe I should go like new Captain Scarlet. Is it new Captain Scarlet?
No.
I got nothing. I got no idea what's in your cup.
People are making so many suggestions in the chat that you haven't asked about yet.
James says, is it Candy Andy? I'm going to ask that. Is it the Candy Andy Mini?
Yes, it is.
Now, did I not ask, is it Dinky?
No, you didn't.
Oh, good.
Or if you did, I did say yes. You didn't pick up on it. Yes, it is a already very beaten up I should say. That's why I picked it. That's why it went in the mug. It's a very beaten
Wait a
up,
minute.
dinky
Are you sure you
Candy
didn't?
Nandy mini.
I asked if you did a mini about it. Did you do a
haven't done a
security
mini
hazard mini about the mini?
No, I did not do a mini about the mini. I'm confident of that.
All right.
And actually, I had 2 of them, which is really bizarre.
You had both of those in the mug?
No, just one in the mug. I picked the more beaten up one to go in the mug. But I just wanted to let you know that I have 2 Candy and Andy Dinky minis just sitting on my shelf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
there we go.
That was a tough one. That was a very tough one.
You got that one in 19 questions.
Shout out to James Fielding for
well
knowing
done,
that.
James Fielding. I think you saved the day there.
Off the
but
top of
I
his
appreciated also Penguin Made of Dynamite coming in suggesting Four Feather Falls and Torchy and all the other shows as well.
Yeah.
I have to say, well done, chat. You definitely came in and helped Ben out a lot there. What do you think of the format, Ben? Did you enjoy that? Do you want to do that
I vote
again?
no. I vote no, Jack. I vote never again.
I think the viewers and listeners probably really enjoyed listening to various bits of plastic and metal being rattled around in a mug for 20 minutes or so. I think people really enjoyed that.
Whatever you say. That's the end of the Security Hazard Show. Thank you for listening. We broadcast live every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. UK time over on youtube.com/Jack Knoll. You can subscribe there to watch and listen to the show in real time and join the chat. And who knows, maybe you will get to jump in and start telling me what's inside of Jack's mug.
Yeah, you absolutely can do that. Yes. And of course, podcast platforms as well, like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all that sort of thing. You can find us there. If you want to listen to the sound of rattling,
the dulcet tones.
Yeah. So you can head over and do that there, rate and review. Every little bit helps. You can also help us out by heading over to patreon.com/securityhazard, where you can give what you can, but only if you can. And that gives you access to exclusive podcasts and videos that you won't find anywhere else. This week, I did a ranking video of all the Terrorhawks vehicles, but we also have our Anything But Anderson podcast, where Ben and I are allowed to talk about anything except Gerry Anderson shows. You can also find Ben doing watch-along reviews of Thunderbirds Are Go, the CG animated series as well. All sorts of stuff going on our Patreon. So yeah, do head over there. Every little bit helps. So thank you. If you do support us over there, patreon.com/securityhazard. We seem to have swapped over who does what bit of admin this week, so it's very confusing.
For everything else, go to securityhazard.net. That's your one-stop shop for everything, including Security Hazard reviews of Space Precinct, a series that Jack's been going through. I've been enjoying reading those very much every single week. Nearing the end, so getting into some of the penultimate episodes of Space Precinct. You won't want to miss those. All of Jack's social media you can find there, including links for Facebook, X, Blue Sky, and beyond. If it says Security Hazard or Jack Knoll, that's the person to follow. But
and
Jack, where can people find me?
Where can people find you? Well, I just wanted to add about the Security Hazard site. What I've actually recently been doing is there are now every single episode of this show has a dedicated page on it for each episode where you'll find pictures sometimes of some of the things we talk about. So, for example, I'll be uploading that screenshot of the dinky vehicles appearing in Adventures of Rupert Bear, and also pictures of all the things that I've been rattling around in my mug today for you to enjoy. So
I wonder where you
head over to securityhazard.net.
Definitely. I wonder where you ranked Spacehawk on your Terrorhawks vehicle ranking, given that you were willing to just toss it around in a mug for 10 minutes purely to annoy me.
I'm so sorry that upset you so much. Plastic, it's fine. It's very durable.
I'm at Cinemarionette on X
Yes,
and
you
on
are.
YouTube. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got a bunch of Starfleet related content on there because I'm a big Starfleet fan. I've got a Starfleet blog that's reviewing the whole series, and I'm coming up on episode 21 with 22 in the works.
Yeah,
so
so you're
getting near
nearing
the
the
end of that
well.
show too.
What are we
So
going to
you
do
can-
with all this time we'll have when we finish reviewing our various shows, Ben? What are we going to
Obviously,
do?
we'll just have to put our toys in
more effort.
mugs.
Put more effort into coming up with segments for this show, mate.
But yes, that's where you can find me. benwolf.page is the website, and that links to everywhere.
Absolutely. You should definitely go and check out Ben's Starfleet blog. There's some really good stuff on there. That's all for today's show. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Until then, bye for now.
Goodbye.
What was that? Who was that supposed to be?
Rupert Bear. Did that not sound like Rupert?
Oh. Rupert
No!
the bear.
I'm out.
Everyone sing his name.